Of neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and the KKK in Charlottesville, Virginia, turned violent and a counter-protester was killed. The president said there was shared blame with, quote, very fine people on both sides. Were there? Tell me yes or no and explain.
I think that the white supremacist issue, it was very obvious that it was a terrorist attack. And I think that President Donald Trump should have made a statement earlier addressing the fact and making sure all Americans feel safe in this country. That is the #1 issue right now.
First of all, that was an unusual question that came out of the blue. We've rarely seen that at beauty pageants, questions like that. Again, this happened on the eve of the 16th anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks. And in the middle of Hurricanes Harvey and Irma, a Miss America contestant basically led by a question to attack President Trump. Now, the pageant aired on ABC. It's owned by Disney. Disney stock took a big hit last week as investors questioned its content internet streaming strategy. Let's bring in Bernie Kerik. He's a former New York City police chief, head of the police department during 9/11. Okay, so what did you think of the questioner, then the question first? It sort of led her to answer that.
It's bizarre. I mean, that's what happens when you ask a young, immature kid a question and they're really ignorant. She doesn't have a clue. She doesn't even know what the definition of terrorism is, #1. And #2, you know, grow up. I mean, the whole politicizing, and that's what this is. The left politicizing an event like this, it's not necessary. You're there for something else. Do what you're there for. Get off of it.
Yeah, let's just get to we know what the definition of terrorism is. A Nazi sympathizer, James Field, he plowed that car into marchers, killing Heather Heyer, injuring, many others. It's unlawful use of violence and force to further political objectives. That's terrorism, right? We all know that.
Yeah, but you know what? There's one thing that people tend to forget. There were two groups. The Nazis or the KKK or whatever you want to call them.
Who are execrable.
They're horrendous and they're morons and they're idiots. But you had another side, Antifa, and these are socialists and communists. That's what they are, socialists and communists that are funded by guys like Soros. So you had two really bad groups doing bad stuff. They're hate groups, all of them.
And they're not what America is about.
No.
That's the point. Let's